Nathaniel Lowe and Josh Bell, one of their offseason signings, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. The offseason is long but short. It seems like the signings come in bursts, but we wait all winter for the hot stove to heat up.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, how was your experience calling games, right? So you did how many last year?
So I think I did 2 last year and then 2 in spring training, and I have the opportunity to do 4 more so far in DC. I'm going to be able to get up there April 25th through the 28th and catch these Nats again. So this is a little sneak preview for me. I did enjoy it, and it's kind of like cheating to have Gary Cohen and Ron Darling and Keith Hernandez to do it with. That's like you couldn't ask for a softer landing. I did find that it is taken some getting used to be that far away from the strike zone. Like I'm not used to being that far, so I've actually found myself, I'll watch the game on the TV monitor to know what pitch has happened in the zone and that coming together, and then I try to pick up the ball. And then, so that way if there's a replay or some analysis or color to do, I at least know what I think that what happens in the strike zone is the most important coming together in our game. So like I want to know what's going on there. Was it a fastball, a curve? What was the count? Where'd you hit it? Where do you got it on the bat? We got torpedo bats now. So like all sorts of stuff like that is I like to know what happens in the strike zone. Sorry, I'm long-winded. And I couldn't really tell the way Gary Cohen could from watching so many games from that perspective. So I watch it on the monitor. And then
that's the way to do it.
He's done it so many times, Daniel.
Yeah.
Let me ask you though: is it hard to be critical of these former guys? I mean, it's not been that long since you were on this field, and now you have to take a little bit of a different approach. As Shohei Ohtani steps into the box, of course, as the first batter of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
And he's got a rip. I'll handle this part. All right, I'll do a little bit of dirty biz for everybody here and there. So Shohei Ohtani with a big rip off Jake Irvin into right field, and the Dodgers set the tone early here with their leadoff man. What'd you see there, Murph?
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't see anything. I saw y'all. I'm going to have to find this ball game. I think I can hear it from the way you guys described it to me. It sounded like he waffled it. Do I hit this MLB.TV watch and then is that or all right? I hope I don't disappear. I'll be back maybe in a second.
You're good.
Let's see. All right.
We're figuring it out.
Oh, he's gone.
Got Mookie here. This guy's pretty good, huh, Scotty?
We're off on the right foot here. Shohei Ohtani, obviously, with the single there in the first, man on first for him. Betts, you gotta love this lineup. Scotty, I know that you're a big Met fan. My little brother there. Are you jealous of our lineup?
No. You have Juan Soto in your lineup?
I don't need Juan Soto. I got Teoscar Hernandez. I'm fine.
I'll take Shohei overall. But
that's a good point.
I will say, Alana, you're probably the only one that brings the Mets fandom out in me and lets everyone know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to do that?
No, you can. I don't care at all. I'm not the diehard guy. I don't know if it was the play-by-play man in me for a long time, but I'm not living and dying off pitches like that. I am living and dying off other things, but not.
You know what that shows, though, Scotty, is growth, maturity. I'm so proud of you. That shows maturity. Clint will never get to that point. He will never be mature.
Oh no! Listen. I'm sitting here just waiting for the game to end these days. That's where I'm at. I got other things I want to be doing, but I'm enjoying this. This is fun. I want to see a win here. Need a win. This team needs a win right now. Happy flight back across the country. Going home with a 1-5 record would not feel the same as 2-4.
Third place team right now.
Blow up the team, Scott.
Does it surprise you that we knew the NL West was going to be good. I don't know that I thought the Giants were going to be that good. Are you surprised at all with the success so far, Scotty, that the Giants are having?
I am, but it's so early that I was probably the low guy on them when we did our power rankings yesterday. I don't even know if I put them in my top 10 because I'm not just going to go off, a few nice series to start a year. There's a walk for Betts, so obviously
I'm cooking.
A little trouble here brewing for Jake Irvin to start the year. But no, I mean, for me, Alana, I think it's pretty clear cut. It's Dodgers. You can make a case for Padres or Diamondbacks second. I've got the Giants firmly in fourth. I do think that's going to be the case. I think they'll be better than they were last year, but I don't think they're there yet. So I'm not that surprised. I mean, if they did an 8-4 stretch or whatever it was, 8-2, 8-1 stretch in the middle of the season, we'd be like, whatever. Again, I don't think they're going to be bad, but the division's really good. You've got 4 real teams and then one team with an owner in the clouds in the Rockies.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely made my opinion known about the Rockies recently in a article in the Denver Post. Patrick Saunders doing an article. The Rockies don't care about winning. Sell the team. There you go. That works.
Dodgers and Biz already.
Oh,
Ohtani is going to score. It looks like trouble in the right field corner, and Mookie Betts is going to score. No problem, standing 2-0 as Tommy Edman comes through. Everybody's favorite power hitter these days, Tommy Tanks.
Star slugger.
Not a homer, but he makes it 2-zip very early, very quickly for the Dodgers, looking to potentially have a really big day after losing 3 in a row here.
Yeah, this is a team going for an angry win right now. They need it bad. They need it in the worst way, even though they do come into this game with a 9-4 record, but losing all the losses on this road trip and the way they lost yesterday, just kind of a stinker. Having a little bit of warm weather for this team, I think, also helps a little bit, but looks like they came out here ready to swing the bat.
I certainly would not have had Anthony Banda on the league leading win category, and I would not have had Tommy Tanks as basically the leader in home runs for this team and driving in guys. I mean, he's been unbelievable.
This guy's pretty good too.
It is crazy that Tommy Edman, has had so much success so quickly with LA, playing for the Cardinals. He was a nice player. I mean, he looks like a superstar now with the Dodgers. I mean, he's on arguably the best team, hitting in the 3 spot after Ohtani and Mookie Betts. Nobody saw that coming from Tommy Edman. They were like, oh, nice. He's coming back from an injury. What was it, the ankle last year that he missed a good chunk of the season? Maybe he'll be nice little fit at the bottom of the lineup to get them going, and he can play everywhere. And it's like, he's our 3 hitter. He was a top 3 hitter for the team in the playoffs. Crazy.
Yeah, number 25, the first home run of 2025 in Tokyo, of course. And this guy, I was screaming at the rooftops, guys, trying to get the Dodgers to just bring back Teoscar Hernandez. I mean, he was just, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, Clint and I have on Dodgers territory on Mondays and Thursdays, about how this guy was, in my opinion, the first half MVP for the Dodgers. Obviously, Shohei got it for the year, deservedly so. But I really feel Teo carried this team the first half of the season. He's about to carry him again.
Yeah, carrying that one out of the yard.
Yeah, put it on the board. Hey, how about a 4 spot to open the game? That is something this Dodgers team needed in the worst way. For what
Dodgers
it's worth,
are pummeling the Nationals here in the first.
For what it's worth, entering this game, Jake Irvin hasn't had a blow up and hasn't had a lot of success against the Dodgers in his career. 1-2, 4.57 ERA over 21 2/3 innings. That ERA is going up against the Dodgers.
Whew. Man, our Nationals representative on this game broadcast, Daniel Murphy, left. Man, if he didn't see what happened in the game itself while he was fixing up his tech, he's going to come back to a rude awakening.
My goodness.
By the way, in the chat, we appreciate, of course, everybody hanging out in the chat with us. We did get a comment asking if I'm drinking. Yes, I am having a beer because Alana told me I need to be drinking with her.
Boom.
That's right. Nobody wants to drink alone.
If you're watching us on, I just want to let everyone know, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, we're not going to be on there forever. If you're on the Dodgers territory, the Foul Territory YouTube channel, at some point, we're going to flick the lights off, and you just have to watch us on Playback. It is free to sign up for an account. It takes a matter of seconds, probably less than 10, probably 5, unless your internet's a little slow, then maybe 8. So sign up, join us there. If you have an MLB.TV account, we're watching the game live all together. Even if not, you get the same experience, obviously better if you're here with us with all the screens lined up in Playback over YouTube. We're on YouTube every day for the show, but right now, this is where we are for these games once a week. So join us.
Do the thing. That's all I got. I see our friend over on YouTube, Richie Flores, hanging out with us, Alana. I saw him earlier. He said, hi, Alana, and also F the Dodger Stadium parking lot for you.
Of course. That's always what Flores is talking about. So Jake Irvin, guys, I didn't know a ton about him. He's 28 years old from Bloomington, Minnesota. He debuted in 2023. So a 28-year-old debuting in 2023 gets a strikeout there. First out of the first inning, 4-0 advantage Dodgers. I wish we could talk to Daniel or a pitcher or a actual person that played Major League Baseball to see what Jake Irvin's, what the mindset is right now with him. How do you calm this kid down, Scott? You've called more games than Clint and I. How do you calm him down?
Abort.
Yeah, where's the do-over button?
You can't go to the bullpen now. It's too early.
No, I know that. I'm saying abort what you were doing for the first 4 years. Whatever the game plan was from the Dodgers, right? Andy Van Scoyoc and the rest of the crew there, it's working. They fixed it real fast. Yesterday was, for Dodger World, an embarrassing loss, an 8-2 loss. And I know you guys talked last night about Robleski not having a good day, but the offense was pretty silenced. It was damn cold for that game. That's not an excuse, but they were acting a little bit like LA status with the cold bats, and it looks like it's at least sunny today, so you got a little better weather.
Yeah, well, it's sunny, but it's freezing here because I live in Massachusetts and the sun's out, but it's 39 degrees and it's freezing. You know what I love about this situation, though, is that Landon Knack will take the ball, guys, and he already has a 4-0 cushion, maybe more, but that's big for a kid that, needs to kind of still get his feet wet at the big league level. He doesn't have to be so fine. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to be such so precise.
Give this team some innings. That's all he needs to do today. If he can find a way to get through 4 or 5, keep that lead. That's all Landon Knack has got to do. World Series champion Landon Knack, been there, done that. 12 starts with the team last year, 15 games. We'll get there when we get there, but hopefully the Dodgers can put a couple more points on the board for him, make it that much easier.
And if you're new to Playback, you can see bottom left corner, that audio button. You can turn us up or down. You can turn the broadcast up or down as well. So if you have those kind of brains that have the kind of brain that can listen to us and listen a little bit to the broadcast, then great, go for it. Joe Davis will mix in some notes and stats for you while we get a little crazy.
It's funny too. I'm looking at the chat here, and Frankie Baseball, and I don't know where Frankie Baseball lives. So Frankie, why don't you put in the chat where you're from? But he says my favorite MLB player all time is Chris Iannetta. Do you think Frankie Baseball's trying to suck up to me, guys, by any chance? Oh, he's from New Jersey. How funny. Yeah, he's my favorite too, Frankie. He's my favorite too.
By the way, that's a good point, guys. Sign or shout out your area code, zip codes, not your social security numbers, but let us know where you guys are representing your Dodger fandom and your Nationals fandom in the chat today.
Yeah, no credit card numbers, just sign up.
I see my buddy Kevin Skinner, my co-host on All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas. Kevin's in the chat checking in from Chicago. We got Dodger Mensch from the 702.
Salt Lake City, what's
Dodgers.
up?
What's going on? My buddy Cooper Neal as well, hanging out with us. St. Augustine, Florida. What's going on, friends? How we doing?
I'm proud of Lord Piranha, a Dodgers fan in the Bay Area. Welcome to Playback. Happy to have you here. All right, 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Irvin doesn't know what the hell hit him. It's called the Los Angeles Dodgers when they're pissed off.
Angry win. That's what we're talking about. Hey, if we're saying, Scott, if we're talking about how do you get Jake Irvin back on track, back-to-back Ks has got to help the kid.
Oh, yeah. That will help. Now he faces Muncie here.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the program.
Very good friend. He was on yesterday.
I love him talking about Scotty. He was talking about Shohei, that new celebration, of course, because, I mean, everywhere you turn, Shohei is on a billboard or in a commercial or in some sort of endorsement. So Shohei also loving the fact he can kind of make fun of himself, right, with this whole thing with, the commercial that he did, and that's their new celebration. Shohei is a different dude as a Dodger than he was as an Angel. And it's great to see a superstar unicorn like that. He's allowed to have some fun, right? He's allowed to have a personality. And Max Muncy, certainly not shy of personality, giving us the insight on how that whole celebration went down. It's great to have Max on the show always.
Yeah, it was really good. And obviously they're very different organizations that are closest to each other, the Angels and the Dodgers. That includes the way that the front office is run, the clubhouse vibes, obviously ownership. You can go all day on that front, and how the Dodgers, got the Hail Mary going from Frank McCourt to Mark Walter and company. So that's a big part of the Dodgers turnaround. Don't forget it. This offseason, I reminded quite a few people about where the Dodgers were not too long ago as a franchise, because people are like, they're an unfair franchise. Okay.
It hasn't always been puppies and rainbows, Oh, no, speaking of the celebration, there we go.
There it is. Exactly. 4-zip already through a half an inning as the first 4 reached. So if you're just joining us, this is actually probably a good time for some of the Dodgers territory fan base to jump in. Let's say they're like, I want to listen to every minute of every game. And they're like, oh, it's already 4-0. This could be a 10-2 clunker. I actually just want to have a drink with Alana and Clint and this annoying guy who just pops in sometimes to make a call, even though I don't care because we're blowing him out. But no, it's 4-0 to start here. Working on Daniel Murphy to get him back in the mix. So we'll have him helping us call the game. But Shohei reaches, what was that, first or second pitch? With a base hit into right that he pulled. Then Betts walked. Tommy Edman, of course, doing Tommy Edman-like things, driving in both Ohtani and Betts. Ball was bobbled in right field. And then Teoscar Hernandez going long. What a start for game 2. He actually seems like the guy that ends up in his dream scenario, Alana, and is going to take off even further because, he's got a bunch of kids. He's had a few ups and downs in his career, always oozing with potential. He's bounced around to a few teams. Now he's settled in. He won a World Series. He got paid. It feels like this could be the year of his life. That's what I'm seeing. Like a little more.
Yeah, that's different when you don't have to be the guy on a day in and day out basis. We've been around teams, guys, and as long as we've been doing this, where there's always been like maybe one superstar, if you're lucky to. This is a team that, you just go out there and do your thing. The Dodgers are a team that are so good at setting guys up for success and allowing them to be just who they are. And you don't have to carry the load all of the time. It is an embarrassment of riches. I understand that there's 29 other teams out there that probably hate the Dodgers, and I understand it. I used to be that person. Having not, lived in LA and covered the Dodgers, I remember I almost didn't take the job thinking I don't want to live in LA. Well, it's the best freaking place I've ever lived, and it's the happiest I've ever been, and it's the best 7 years of my career covering that team. So, they ain't like us. It's just a different vibe. And Landon Knack on the hill for the first time, obviously, in this game. You got to like that, the 0-1 count. I just think that now everybody can kind of take a collective breath. And it's, this team is the sum of its parts. And all of the parts are pretty great. And Landon Knack had some big innings last year for them. And now he's being called upon today, as Clint mentioned earlier, to be the stopper.
Yeah. And again, this is somebody he's kind of in his first year last year, went to the highest of highs, pitching in the World Series. Like, this game should mean very little to him, but he understands it means a lot to his team, especially after his buddy Justin Wrobleski kind of put up a stinker yesterday. He's ready. This is a kid that's ready for this moment. It's not the biggest moment of his life, but it's a pretty big moment for the team. Again, you're trying to get that happy flight back to LA, welcome the Cubs to Dodger Stadium on Friday, have a good happy off day on Thursday, and things starting out really, really good with a 4-0 lead on the bump.
Yeah, and Jamin, who is an FT regular, said, did Jake Irvin make it through the first? He did, so he'll get back out there for the second against LA. It was a rough start for him. Yeah, for Landon Knack, he's only tossed 30 big league pitches so far this year over in Japan. Then they had him down in the minors. Wrobleski got optioned yesterday. They call up Knack. Do you guys feel like, Clint, I'll start with you. From a rotation perspective, it's not as deep as you thought it would be when we're already getting the shuttle flowing for starts 2 weeks into the season?
Well, obviously losing Blake Snell as early as they did, it's a little bit of a blow.
That's
James Wood.
Is that
get to know the damn name? Sorry, CJ Abrams. Get to know the damn name.
He's back. Hey, when he's not gambling. When he's not gambling, apparently he's a pretty dang good baseball player. CJ Abrams, shortstop, coming back.
Bro, they have the right to do what they want to do. They're not 12 years old. They're grown-ass men.
I actually got the whole backstory on that one, and I am way on his side. I did some homework in the offseason, talked to a couple people. He was out with other teammates, and it's the end of the season. And he happened to be the one where they take a picture of him. Mm-hmm. And yes, they are allowed to go out. They barely ever go out.
No, like, these aren't humans. These aren't
end of the season. We've had a freaking year. Made the all-star team. I get to go out and relax. And I stayed out a little late. Okay. and all of a sudden, it takes off, goes viral, and
All right, I miss
now
some.
everyone thinks,
I miss some runs.
oh, this
Hey,
guy.
look who's
Hey,
back.
This guy, by the way, Daniel Murphy is here. You good now, Murph?
Your boys needed you, Daniel. My goodness.
Hello.
We got you. At least I got you.
Here's Wood. 4 for 7, 3 homers, 7 RBIs. When I call a home run, and also the TV is pretty far away from me, so bear with me. I'm thinking it's James Wood for the Nats, but it was Abrams.
Yeah.
Here's Wood, though, who's had a monster series, and I think could be a 40-homer guy.
Yeah, this is a massive kid right here. And obviously, they already had a bobblehead planned for him. I saw it in the back, back there at Nationals Park behind home plate. They got a lot of hope that this kid can help get that organization back on track.
They walk him. Nice. We got a little action here. We got a ball game. Sun is out. Teams are ready to swing the bats today.
Not the best.
What do you think makes CJ Abrams? I'm not a scout. I certainly did not play this game, but what do you think makes CJ Abrams so special? Scott?
I would say potential for 5 tools at a premium position.
Mm-hmm.
That's what stands out to me with CJ. I mean, he fell off significantly at the end of last year in the second half of the season, but he was an all-star in the first half of the year. So I would say that bat flip too, or whatever that was, that celebration. He knew he got all of that, but that's big boy power right there.
Keibert Ruiz has struggled, guys. He came in, he obviously was a Dodger prior to this trade that ended up with Max Scherzer as a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he got a big contract from the Nats and has kind of scuffled a little bit.
Looking to get back on track. Yeah, he's having himself a nice start to this season.
Yeah, last year he scuffled a bit.
Yeah, last year. Yeah, this year he's probably been their most consistent. I think they just showed 320 something in that range. But yeah, I mean he hasn't been a star. He did sign for 8 years, $50 million. He signed up through 2030, so they still got him for a minute, plus 2 club options on top of that. But actually, I remember last year one of the issues they're trying to figure out, and I think at least for the first couple of weeks, you haven't seen it as much, as he was pop out city. Like you look, the stat that stood out for him, infield fly ball percentage, like just a lot of pop outs. So Murph can tell us the smart way at some point if he defeats technology and gets back on here, but he can tell us about how you can dumb that down. But yeah, so far so good for him, at least for these first couple weeks.
I was a little surprised that the Texas Rangers allowed Nathaniel Lowe to go. He's been pretty good for the Nats. Every time I catch a Nats game, obviously watching because they're playing the Dodgers, but even other games that I've watched of the Nationals, he's put the barrel on the ball. He looks pretty good for them this year. I liked him with Texas. I mean, I understand it's a business. I was a little bit surprised at that move.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to be a free agent after this season. And for the Rangers, Jake Berger is a guy who you probably want playing more first and third, right? So that's what they're doing in the offseason, is saying, hey, what does this look like over the next few years? Berger, you would think is a veteran, but service time-wise, I think he's still got like 4 or 5 years before he hits free agency. So I think they just didn't want him playing third for them consistently. Plus, they have someone. There's a knock for the Nats, and they've got 2 aboard here, and more trouble brewing for Landon Knack. It's not a dream beginning to his day with that 4-0 cruise control lead, Clint.
Not a hot start at all. Just got to find something, maybe get a ground ball, try to get 2 outs here. You still got a lead to play with. That's the important thing. You need to leave this inning with that some semblance of a lead intact. How's that for a hit right there? A little flare job.
Yep.
Good series for Ruiz against his former club as well.
Yeah, the Dodgers developed too many good catchers.
Yeah.
Seems to be an epidemic in LA. They just can't stop developing good catchers. So Dalton Rushing,
Poor us.
Luck, and I think there's one or two behind him that are really good as well. So apparently there's only, really one or two catchers that are going to get PT at a time, and some of the guys they've been developing are starting catchers. Like even Ruiz, for example, he hasn't been a star by any means, but he's a starting caliber catcher. Wasn't going to be with LA.
Clint, you know a lot about the guys in the minor league system. You're big on our farm club and those types of things. And you know these guys coming up through the pipeline. So what is it about Landon Knack that we should be looking for? What is it about him that gives you something to look forward to? And what it is about Landon Knack that gives you pause?
Well, he's somebody who should be going up there firing strikes. That's going to be his best plan of attack is strike one, as it is for a lot of pitchers. But he's not going to overwhelm a lot of guys. Got a solid changeup, a good fastball, can bend a breaking ball up there. He's just got to make sure he stays in the zone and avoids hard contact. Sometimes it doesn't work out. You get Keibert Ruiz dumping a 65-mile-an-hour exit velo single over shortstop.
Yeah, that's not fair, but I get it.
That's him doing his job right there. You get soft contact, get a few punch outs in there, and try to get through 5 or 6. That's going to be his thing for this team. He's lower on the depth chart. He's not of the ilk of a Yoshinobu Yamamoto or a Shohei Ohtani or Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, but he's somebody that's around to pick up important innings for this team on that 40-man roster. Availability will be his best ability.
Yeah, the Dodgers might not be the best gauge of this because they've got so many elite starters, but Landon Knack should find himself a home as a swingman on this team, and eventually if he does move on or if the Dodgers go through more injuries, he should be a back-end starter in the big leagues. He's got that kind of stuff, like you're saying, Clint. I mean, he is definitely a step up from yesterday's starter for LA and Robleski, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a guy who's definitely higher on the depth chart there. This is just a symptom of being early in the season. Shohei Ohtani still a couple months away from being on the mound for this team. Same with Clayton Kershaw, probably a month and a half. Tony Gonsolin, probably 3 or 4 weeks away. And right now it looks like the mechanics are just a bit off. He's not happy with himself, but he's going to lock it in. Again, he's been there. He's done that.
Daniel, can you hear us? Are you with us?
I can't hear you.
Okay.
I think Landon might get
I don't know how
much
of Landon Knack's outing that you've seen here so far, but right now he came into the game, Daniel, with a 4-0 cushion, and now we have at bottom of the first. He hasn't recorded an out, and bases are loaded. As a guy that is in his infield, and you walk up to that mound to calm him down, what are you saying?
Strike one. It's the same thing at 12 to 11. You Blue Claws when they're pitching. Get strike one.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just, and then from there, as he gets strike one, he'll look to hopefully expand the zone. Maybe with that changeup he's been throwing, like to get a ground ball from Josh in this situation. Well, now you get to go for the kill. Hopefully Josh in this spot is trying to. I had an old hitting coach my first year of pro ball in this situation. He'd say, play catch with the center fielder. So try to get one. If you miss the center fielder, you get extras, but try to eliminate the infield, the first line of defense.
Looking to record his first out here. Abrams touched him up for a dinger, and then James Wood walked. Keibert Ruiz with that little squibber into left. Nate Lowe walked. Here we are at Josh Bell's spot.
He's
off.
He's missing big. It's not even close.
He doesn't have command of that changeup at all right now, so they might need to kind of get after this batter. I wouldn't be surprised to see old friend Mark Pryor go out there, give him a little bit of a reset. But an out right here, desperately needed for the Dodgers.
That will curve in front of the plate.
Ooh, that was
pace.
Just
good one.
Missed. Hey, do we give him one of these just for fun?
Oh, you get tossed if you do that in the wrong ballpark.
I saw that.
That's right.
Don't want to upset the fragile egos of the Blues these days.
Sometimes they like to be a part of the show too.
That's right. We have a segment for them on our show, Foul Territory, Ump Show.
Lump Show.
Mm-hmm. Big pitch coming up here.
Just need an out. I'll take a run for an out. Or I'll take an out for a run.
Keep drinking, Clint.
Working on it. Oh, tough play.
You're gonna get it.
There you go.
Here comes a run, but first out recorded in the home first. Now let's get another on the board, though.
It's 4-2.
Cut it in half.
Double play away from this being a good inning.
So, Murph, we missed it for a few minutes, obviously. Things happened fast. We thought the game was going to be over in about 10 minutes by the time you came back. But the Nats have actually some fight in them here in the home first. But it was a pretty impressive display from that top of the order for the Dodgers to start the day. Ohtani connected, and later in the inning, Teoscar Hernandez went long. But, I mean, that's about as fierce as it gets right now. With guys like that in the lineup. Obviously, they're missing Freddie at the moment, but Ohtani and Mookie, you really can't do much better than that for your 1 and 2. And Tommy Edman apparently now is a superstar since he moved over to the Dodgers.
And matchup proof since he's a switch hitter. Like, he gets a platoon advantage all the time. Must be nice. The rest of us don't get to do that.
That's what happens when you go to LA. You just blossom into a superstar.
Well, he probably would say to you, Murph, well, anyone can do it. Anyone can try it out.
Yeah, I could have. I was trying to sort it from one side of the plate. I didn't have any thoughts of going to the other side. Even though my oldest just asked me the other day, he wants to switch hit a little bit. So, I mean, it's I envy those who always have those curves breaking into them.
There you go.
Oop.
Garcia into center. There's your second out and another run.
Wow.
4-3 games, 7 runs across combined here in the first inning. And with 2 outs, the Nats are just a run away from matching the Dodgers.
Yeah, we were ready to pack it up, right? A 4-0 lead. We're like, oh, this game is over. What else are we going to talk about? Now it's a little bit closer than we had certainly anticipated. 4-3 here, bottom of the first, 2 out in the game. This is not what you want. I mean, if you're Landon Knack, you had a 4-run cushion, and you're letting them back into this.
Hey, we'll take a ball game, though. Gives us something fun to watch here.
Oh, for sure. I'm just saying, from the win-loss column, you were ready to, throw yourself off a ledge yesterday, and now you're fine. You want a ball game.
The Nats aren't projected to be a playoff team. The National League is really good, including their own division, but it's not going to be a pushover team.
Daniel, let me ask you this, because you obviously were a member of the Nats, an all-star, in fact, 16, 17. You were there in 2018. I always feel like, I don't always feel, but like since they won the World Series, there has been a bit of a rebuilding mode for the Washington Nationals. And of course, I have a lot of respect for Mike Rizzo. No relation, of course. But where do you think this team is right now? I mean, the NL East is tough, as you know, being a member of the Mets as well, as long as you were. Is this a team that can contend for a wild card, or are we still a year and change off of that?
So I would say yes. I definitely think they can contend for a postseason spot. I may not alter the question, but I think of it in terms of, can they get to the deadline? Because if you can get to the deadline, there'll be inventory available for you to make your run. So it kind of feels like the season is almost 2 parts. Can I get to the deadline and in that area and see? But when you have the type of talent that they have up the middle positions with Ruiz and Abrams, and I know Jacob Young isn't on the menu today, but he can really defend in center field. And you guys are talking about Mackenzie Gore and, the starts that he's had in his season. Like, that's a really good foundation, I think, moving forward. And, with the corners and, veteran players like Nathaniel Lowe and Josh Bell, like, you could definitely should be able to stay in it long enough to give Rizzo some chances, Mike, at the deadline. And, he's not bashful. I always appreciated my time there. The 2 years we were there and we were in it, like, he went and added players each year to try to make us better. And there's something about being in a clubhouse in the middle of a pennant race. Oh, too low. Play with it, Mookie.
Wow.
There we go.
Big play by Mookie to get him out.
Stop talking about Mets not being able to play short.
That was a wonderful play.
That was.
All right, they can catch their breaths now. Everybody back to your corners. Catch your breaths after that first inning.
Yeah, right? After that, that was pitch 41 from Landon Knack.
Yeah. You know what? I'm glad you said that. I was wondering.
Right? Yeah. And number 2, you get the great play by Betts, because otherwise, I mean, the Dodgers are not going to let a pitcher go 50-plus pitches in the first inning, a young arm like that, right? So they were probably – that might have been his last hitter, no?
Yeah,
You're gonna let a guy go pitch?
I thought that Pryor was going to come and talk to him when he loaded the bases up with nobody out, but he knew best. He ended up getting Bell for the fielder's choice, but that was a really good response by the Nationals. I think fun getaway day game.
I'm looking at the
Mookie's
schedule
looking a
here.
little
I
better.
mean, now if they, I mean, after 41 pitches and you have to go to your pen early. What is today, by the way? The 9th. So yeah, they have an off day tomorrow.
Yeah, I was giving they off tomorrow.
They have
It's
an
just
off.
light
Yeah,
slate
they're
tomorrow.
off tomorrow, so that's helpful. And then they start a series at home against the Cubs on Friday. It's a 6-game homestand, and then they're on the road again. But I mean, if you have to go to the bullpen early, at least they are off tomorrow.
Yeah, everybody should be available in the bullpen, but Ben Kasparius threw 35 pitches last night. Everybody else mostly rested. But this is where I want to see Landon Knack when he gets back out there. Just you still have a lead. That's the important thing. You still have a lead. Kind of reset, get a 10-pitch inning, and you're back on track. You can try to get through 4.
Yeah, we're gonna have some bullpen fun today. I mean, Jake Irvin has tossed 37 pitches already too.
Yeah, not efficient. That's not what you want.
Murph, what do we call this? A pitcher's duel?
Might be. I don't know how cold it is up there. It's been cold everywhere still to the Northeast. Might be a fight to the bat rack if
Seriously.
you keep getting balls in the middle of the plate. Oh wow, that ball had some carry on it from Mookie. He threw that one. That's a good play.
Let's see, Nationals Park. What's the temperature like right now?
Cold.
True story.
Is that?
All right, so we got Kike Hernandez, Andy Pages, and then back to the top of the lineup already in inning number 2 with Ohtani due up third in this frame. Does Kike have a non-home run hit yet? Okay.
I don't know, but no, I don't think so. He has 4 home runs. All of his hits have been long balls.
Which is apparently either an MLB or definitely a Dodger record. I overheard on the radio today. Not the type of records he wants to be setting, though. He wants some more knocks in there.
Somebody was joking that they should, make him believe that it's October. But although he hits home runs in October too. But
off the end of the bat.
And he flies out to center. That's Cruz out there. First out in the second. Hey, Murph. Kike Hernandez signs late this year. He signed late last year with the Dodgers. And then, of course, was a factor, especially early in the playoffs for LA. You had a lot of postseason success. Do you think someone like Kike is undervalued by the rest of the league? I mean, he's a little stubborn. He doesn't want to play for anyone else anymore. But at the same time, I don't know if the numbers portray the clutchness for a player like that.
No, he seems like his most productive at bats come in the biggest moments. Mm-hmm. So, like maybe a little more difficult to quantify that. Not everybody's OPS is created equal in how you get there. Like some moments are bigger than others, and then also his position versatility in the modern game is almost invaluable because he can allow you to put him in the lineup and then structure your roster and your end game moves around his ability to play 6 positions, 7. I mean, which ones can't he play? And so
the only thing he hasn't done is caught. He's done everything else.
I wouldn't do that, but in a pinch, I'm sure he could do it.
Daniel, let me ask you this: a lot of folks want to send Andy Pages to the moon because he's not running great routes in the outfield. He's not an outfielder. He just isn't. But you can deal with it if he's hitting, and right now he isn't. So how long? Do you wait? I mean, what is the patience level? How long do you let a guy try to figure it out at the big league level before you kind of send him back to AAA because he does obviously have options to figure it out there? Like, what is the balance there between facing big league pitching or getting the reps at AAA until he feels a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah, it's one of those delicate situations that DR will have to kind of have a pulse of in the clubhouse. And not to say that any of the teammates would ever turn on him, but like if you feel like, and I'm not saying he is, but if he ends up being overmatched in center field at this point in time, like it can be very frustrating for the defense for more maybe routine balls to not be turned into outs. I can say that from experience. Like you hit me a 4-6-3 double play and I don't turn it, like people start freaking out, nervous systems start getting all activated. But then at the same time, it makes me think of Trey Turner that we had him and played center field in the middle of a pennant race and never done it before. So you hope that his athleticism and baseball skill set can sort it on the fly. It's not an easy thing to do to defend at a new position, especially in the middle. Oh, too low, Mookie. Sorry. Sorry, I got a thing about beating the infielders, man. I beat the first line of defense. I don't ever want them catching my batted balls, almost ever. But so it makes me think of Trey, and hopefully he can sort it out at the big league level. I don't know how much of a runner like Pajes is. Like Trey would come in and just impact the ball game. It didn't matter if he was the bat boy. Like he was going to come in and make an impact on the game. He did that in 2016 when we called him up for Danny Espinosa's paternity leave. He came in Cincinnati and impacted every single game he touched it. And so I was like, run him out in center field.
Yeah.
We'll just try to out smack him if we can. And he made some boo-boos out there like we all do, but that's the nature of the game when you're learning a new position.
Yeah. He's parlayed it into a really nice career. Obviously wanted to get back to the East Coast now with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Hey, we're able on Playback to jump to a different game during a break. Don't worry, Dodgers and Nationals fans. We'll get back to your game. So we flip back now, but just showing you the ability that we'll have at times to be able to flip to some other games for 2 minutes during the breaks. So we were getting a little look at the Sacramento Athletics.
Yeah, that's an interesting look for sure. The Sacramento Athletics.
Man, walking through center field, yeah, that's interesting. Woo, man! I saw the Chicago Cubs DH roll out through center field in the middle of the game. The vanity in me came out. I was like, well, this isn't big league right here. This isn't major league.
No, they tried their best. They put in, I think they said 40 mil over the last 4 or 5 months to touch it up. But you need a lot more than that to take a minor league park to a major league facility.
But Scott, people aren't even going to the games. I mean, we talked about this yesterday, I believe, on Dodgers territory. It's just folks are not going, and I don't blame the fans of Sacramento. Like that team, they weren't born into that team. But I feel really badly for the players that are there, that are giving their best and doing everything they can. And it's bad for baseball.
Yeah,
that's well said, because you don't want to take it out on the players for what is certainly an ownership situation that hasn't been sorted out over the last 25 years.
And the thing that's tough for the fan base as well. It's like you're not going to get a fan base. You know they're only going to be there for a year or two. Why are you going to get into this team?
Yeah, well, 3 or 4, but still, they know that they're a rental. That thing's not turning into a big league park. So it's tough, and you're going to see more fans from other teams popping in there. Kind of like how a Northeast team plays the Marlins, and all the snowbirds pop out to see, the Mets or the Yankees or even the
Cubs
Nationals
or whatever. Yeah.
Cubs. Yeah, you'll get fans of those teams popping out. It looks like Sacramento is going to be the same case. I'm just surprised it's this early and they're having an issue. I thought maybe year 2, we'd really be able to see it and that there'd be excitement. But it hasn't been the case. All right, there you go, Clint.
Is that Cruz?
That a little more Landon Knackish to you?
That looked a lot more on track. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, 1 out. That's what you want to see. First inning, 41 pitches. 20 of those pitches were only strikes. Only 20. So find the strike zone, baby. That's what you got to do.
Now, Clint, is that a changeup? Is that a change of pace, or does he throw a splitter as well too, or it's like a changeup?
I think he has one of those ones they're calling the kick change now, which is almost like a split change a little bit.
You don't want to hear what I call it.
I was going to say, Daniel, does that drive you bananas? Like you got into this league in 2008, and now all of these different names of pitches. It's just like, does that drive you crazy?
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's like you're trying to get the ball to perform different ways to try to get the hitter off timing. So like, for sure, if you've got the Eliminator and the Terminator and the See You Later, then by all means, like fire it on up there. You get to pick. I do. I think back. I was on Scott's show, Foul Territory, and I was talking. I was reading a book by Christy Mathewson, or listening because I'm not. I'm lazy. But he said that batters only recognize two types of pitch balls, and it really struck me. He said they only recognize straight and curve. So from a perspective standpoint, kick change, splitter, fork, ball, all of that, to me, I just bucket that to keep it simple for me. That's a slow straight one. Because that's the way I'm going to see it. I'm going to see it straight and it's slow. And so that's the way I describe it. Now, slow straight ones can go different ways. They can go right. They can go left, just like fastballs. You can cut it. You can sink it. You can ride it. But I'm going to perceive it as straight the same way I am a curve, whether a curve is over the top 12-6 or side to side like Dennis Eckersley or the modern day sweeper that we have. So I bucket it into two pitches, curve and straight, and then I kind of work from there. It doesn't mean I'm right. That's just I try to make it simple.
Not a ton of big leaguers out of Bucknell, but Christy Mathewson. Look at you reading the. I think
I love Christy Mathewson
and Matt Daly. I think those are the two from Bucknell.
Yeah, but it's interesting to hear that that's the hitter's mentality. I'll be the fan mentality. I love different pitch names. It's just fun marketing, right? I love that Kodai Senga names his pitch, right? That to me is cool. It separates him from the pack that that it's not just a fork ball, it's a ghost fork.
Yeah.
We know we're having fun with it. Yes, for a player, totally different mindset. And some of the veteran pitchers, it was really 2 years ago, we're getting pissed. They're like, not a sweeper. Just let them have it. It's fine. Let the fans have it.
The pitcher's mentality as well. I imagine whatever makes you feel like you're going to throw, the pitcher's going to make the action that you're trying to make it do, whatever you need to call it. Clayton Kershaw, essentially is throwing a cutter, but he's called it a slider all of his life. Don't call it a cutter to him, but whatever makes you feel good. And
it does. Sometimes it cuts, sometimes it slides.
Landon getting 1-2-3 inning, that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
On track.
Big bounce back. They were mentioning at the tail end of the broadcast before it hit the break too, the shadows. So that's
so DBrook55 in our chat wanted to ask Daniel Murphy about the shadow effect. How difficult is Britt, hi. Britt Ghiroli, everybody joining the program. Welcome. Britt, before we bring you in, I wanted to finish this question with Daniel Murphy. How much of a pain in the butt, Daniel, is it to hit when the shadows are all over the place? Obviously the shadows for the pitcher are different than the shadows for the hitter, and just how difficult is that?
Yeah, you prefer not to have them, certainly. The worst ones are probably the ones in San Francisco where the flags will blow, as you go that way. In the DC ones, we had some playoff games that were in the shadows, but everybody's had to deal with it. It's kind of, I never went back complaining about it. If I couldn't see one, I didn't want to give the pitcher the satisfaction under any circumstances. That's how you got me, because we're all hitting under the same circumstances. But I prefer a 1 o'clock game to a 4 o'clock if I can choose.
Sure, of course.
Yes. Hey, if you're just catching us here over the last few minutes, either here or on YouTube, we're eventually just going to be on Playback. It's free to sign up. This enables us to all watch together. We have now 5 boxes free to enjoy. 5 broadcasters on a call here for the Nationals and the Dodgers. Good game so far, but the Athletics' Britt joining us right now. And so, Britt, we're kind of leveling things out. We've got the heavy Clint Pastillas, Lana Rizzo, Dodgers side of the equation, and you certainly have been covering, the Beltway for a while. Murph can obviously cover a few teams here, but our Nats perspective. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I got to say, this is such an interesting game. I think you saw the 4 runs that LA put up early, and you're like, oh, here comes the Dodgers again, another blowout. And to the Nationals' credit, I think what you saw over the last 2 games, and certainly after they started off really poorly their first week of the season, is that they've got a lot of young talent. They've got a lot of fight in them. And now all of a sudden, what looked like it was going to be a blowout is a 4-3 game, and we haven't seen James Wood homer yet. So I'm still waiting on, another 2 home run game from James Wood, who is just ridiculously good, guys. It's really hard. And, Daniel, you'd speak to this more so, but when you look at a guy who's that powerful, who has that much speed, who has that much ability, who do you compare him to?
He's speechless.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, forgive me.
No, you're good.
I'm thinking
He's
about
like,
the
"You know
base
what?"
hit by Tommy. Oh,
Yeah, which we can cover.
I feel
for
like,
a sec,
well, as
but
you say
who do
that,
got?
like now Dave Winfield, just from the other side of the plate, is kind of maybe I gave myself enough time to come up with a reasonable answer, but that's yeah, that's sorry about that. No, yeah, but I mean, okay, so you just said I've never met James before. I've just seen him and not like a ton, but as he just went into the dugout, like he is a monster,
huge.
physical,
He looks like a football
and
player.
so like, and that's the way Dave Winfield is. Each time I would go shake his hand with the Players Association, like you all are built different, and so and I was kind of talking about a little bit before you got on, Britt. Just I really enjoy James's ability to walk. Like as someone, I wasn't a big base on ball. That wasn't a part of my game, but that just I think completely raises your floor on what you can do when you can walk. So
Yeah, it's so interesting. One of my favorite anecdotes about him is that when the Nationals were exploring trading Juan Soto for the Padres, I had multiple people in the San Diego organization tell me that James Wood was at, I think A-ball at the time, and no one really knew much of him. And honestly, he kind of dropped in the draft because he doesn't play with a lot of energy. And so scouts thought that meant he wasn't into the game and, that he was just a low energy in a bad way. And then he just didn't care. That's just his personality. It is a steady presence as you'll come to see. But when they were looking at trade prospects, AJ Preller was like, I am not trading James Wood. He was the one that he did not want James Wood to be included in that trade. And at the time, people in San Diego were like, what's the big deal? Like, yeah, he's got some upside. He's an A-ball, right? But credit AJ Preller, who I think does a terrific job in scouting and player procurement, for recognizing that this guy's going to be a star. And if you guys remember, James Wood was not the star of that trade at all. Mackenzie Gore, CJ Abrams, these were like the meat of the Soto trade. James Wood was an afterthought. And really at the time, and you look at it now and you're like, man, imagine if this guy was on the Padres in addition to all their other stars. They just find a way. I think it's a real testament to what San Diego has been able to do there in restocking continuously a farm system that they trade away from. James Wood, much to the behest of AJ Preller, Mike Rizzo said they weren't making that deal without James Wood. He actually was a pivotal part in that deal.
Teoscar Hernandez bounces out. Alana's back. Nice play.
Very nice play.
Yeah.
play with it, Paul. Play with it.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Aldi Young signing with the Nats this offseason, playing some third next to Abrams. And the Dodgers lead 4-3 here. We're in the top of the third. If you're watching on Playback for the first time, hello, welcome. Thanks for signing up and checking us out. If you're on YouTube watching Foul Territory or Dodgers Territory, eventually we're going to shut that down and just be running it on Playback. Free to get an account. It's a new service here that obviously enables you to watch the game and to listen to us at the same time. So you've got me. I'm Scott Braun from Foul Territory, Alana Rizzo, and Clint Pasillas from Dodgers Territory, Daniel Murphy, former big leaguer and former Washington National. We invited him to the party and are very thankful for him joining us today, as well as our friend Brittany Ghiroli from The Athletic. And by the way, if you want to get like a good laugh and some entertainment out of an article, like something to read maybe in bed before you go to sleep,
That's very good.
read Britt's article about players.
Cheap ass players.
Yeah, basically cheap ass players. I was trying to think of a nice way to put it, but it's really good. Okay. We'll talk about it later this week on Foul Territory. Trevor May already spoke about it on his show the other day, so it's getting a lot of love. I actually brought it up. I was on the phone with an agency this morning going over some business stuff, and I was like, you guys got to read this because they represent a lot of players. And they were like, oh, we're on it. And they didn't know about it. So they were like, I cannot wait to check this out because they're like, this is my life. You know, getting a phone call or a text. Hey, can you get me a 20% discount on this? You know, name that something that costs $100. And they're like,
Yep.
I'm a little busy right now.
Britt, what's the funniest thing that when you're talking to all these players, I saw some guys were like, I look at the first class tickets, but I don't buy them. What's the cheapest thing that you're like, come on, man?
Well, actually, Derek Law, who's with the Nationals, was one of the cheapest guys. Like, I had to eliminate some of his answers because he had like 10, and I was like, my God. Like, and then Jessica Camarado, who's the Nationals beat writer for MLB.com, texted me last night and said, Derek Law and her had a deep conversation about saving $40 a night by staying at the Fairfield Inn. So I think, as Daniel, as you know, every team has like one or two really cheap guys. I think Derek Law is that guy for the Nationals. Some of them like weren't even that good, Alana, so I had to omit them. Like I remember Carlos Correa was like, I only have one chain. I'm not spending that much money on jewelry. I'm like, is that cheap? I don't really think that's cheap, you know? We're going to eliminate that, you know? Vinny Pasquantino also didn't make it in there with the Royals, was like, I'm not attending a sporting event I have to pay for. I was like, that's not going to go over well. I got to eliminate that for Vinny.
Not for me.
Right? He's like,
yeah, but you know what? But I'm the same way though. I'm sorry, I'm diva. I'm like, if I have to pay for a sporting event, I'm out. Because oh my God, I've covered it for 20 years. I'm out. I'm so spoiled now. I know it sounds awful.
Not baseball though, Alana.
I'm a horrible person.
Yeah, not but even, you know, like I'll go to college hoops, NBA, stuff like that.
Yeah. Nope, not
NFL.
Me. I'm out.
The Jaguars don't make the postseason often. We got to chase them the few times it happens. I'll chase them all over this country if I got to.
I was
ended up in Kansas City a couple years ago. Might not ever make it back.
To be able to go to the Broncos Super Bowl against, well, I thought I was fortunate at the time, the freaking Broncos Super Bowl against the Seattle Seahawks in New York, right before I took the Dodger job. And we were out of the game the first 2 minutes because there was a safety and we never recovered. Never again. Thank God I didn't pay for those seats. I would have been pissed.
Oh, so there you go. I was going to say, did you pay for those seats? You didn't. Okay. So you and Vinny P.
Yeah, me and Vinny Pasquantino.
And all the hookup.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, well, fans were already people who didn't take it for what it was worth, which was like a joke. The whole thing was like a lighthearted thing. We're upset in the comments, and I'm like, man, Vinny's gonna get crushed by everyone, especially Royals fans, to be like, yeah, I'm paying to go to anything. I don't know why you idiots are paying to watch me play. You know, like that's how it's gonna be construed. I love Vinny. I was like, I'm gonna save him from himself here and not put him in this.
Yeah. In fairness, I do think that people need to be a realist when it comes to, you know, athletes and then, you know, even celebrities, right? Like some of the richest people that are music artists or movie actors haven't paid for an article of clothing in the last, you know, X amount of years since they've been famous. Like, can they afford them? Sure, but they just get them for free. So
yeah.
Daniel, what will you not? You're a big leaguer, long time guy. You got some coin. What would you not pay for?
Oh my goodness! I was actually thinking, as Scott was saying, I think, and I don't blame Vinny at all for not doing sporting. I consider sporting events like a leisure activity. I like to watch other people use their skill set to entertain me. So like, I very much enjoy that. Wow. What will I not spend on and what I'm cheap on? Oh, I don't want to act like I'm not cheap at something, but I'm thinking,
So, for example, I'm married to a big league ball player. Like, he played in the big leagues for 14 years. Like, I'm like, can we please fly first class? We're going halfway around the world. He's like, you'll be fine. You can just like put your head on my shoulder. I'm like, but you get the window seat. Like, he won't pay for first class. I'm like, what the hell, man?
I'll splurge for first class. Like, I'll splurge for that.
Yeah.
Man, where are the?
You know, life is tough for Riz.
It's not. I know. I'm a diva. Yeah. I'm a diva. I recognize that. But like, but listen, like I won't spend, I'm not a shopper, right? So I don't go shopping for clothing. Like I don't spend money on that.
Same. Vacations were a big splurge. I felt like with guys, like a lot of guys will spend money on food. Guys are like, no, I'm going to Whole Foods. I want like top of the line stuff. Some guys were, didn't matter, but it felt like a lot of guys were big on vacations, sporting events, minus Vinny P, cars. Most guys, there's a couple cars in there. Most guys, that's like how they treat themselves. I mean, a lot of guys have like, do you share streaming accounts? A lot of guys like share streaming accounts, which I think is kind of hilarious. We're talking like, I don't know, like I share streaming accounts, but I'm not a big leaguer. I'm not making millions.
You're not a big leaguer.
If my friend comes to my house a month ago and logs into her mom's YouTube TV and I'm still using it, who's the wiser?
There you go.
Somebody get YouTube on the phone.
Yeah, people are blowing me up because I spent a shit ton on Morgan Wallen tickets. That's the type of stuff I was on. Like Morgan Wallen, I was like, I don't care how much it is, I'm in. So I do spend money.
Yeah.
My
leisure
favorite,
though. You consider that's good. Yeah.
My favorite Alana thing is, when you post on social media and you're adding either the artist or the event venue or whatever it is. How often does that work?
Never. You think Morgan Wallen's gotten back to me on anything? Nope.
Well, you got to get back to God's country. That's what I'll tell you there.
To me, that man can do no wrong. I don't care. So I just dropped a boatload on Morgan Wallen tickets when he's coming to Gillette in August. but I won't spend $6 on a T-shirt. Anyway, back to the game.
Yeah, so we got a baseball game going here.
Yeah.
Bottom of the third. Landon Knack locking in a little bit, but got something cooking. Nathaniel Lowe taking the walk.
Yeah, he's walked twice today, Lowe. A couple misses here to Bell. Now a third. All right, so
Green light. That hole is open.
Yeah. Your green light in
light.
here, Murph?
Oh, yeah. Even if he misses low, that hole is open. First to third him. I'm swinging. And if you do miss, you should miss high and foul. That's all right. That way you get to hit again.
Paint right there.
That's right.
Wasn't it always a green light for you, Murph?
Not always. I was bashful, like sheepish early in my career. It's one of the things I encourage our kids to do, like our sandlotters, our young ones. Hit that house.
Oh,
Told you that thing was open.
there it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
That was okay. Sorry, I'm gonna
No
answer
ball.
that too. When I came back and played in the minor leagues in 23, the shift rules weren't the same as when I left. So when I was old and fat, they moved everybody when I was with the Rockies on that side of the diamond. So I couldn't squeeze nothing through there. But when I came back, you could only have 2 on each side. So that giant hole was open for the first time in like years. In my eyes, I was like, I can roll over the ball to right field. I'll do that all the time. So that was fun. But yeah, as far as green light, I encourage our little leaguers, like, would turn them loose to get comfortable with it, because there's a fear that you need to be perfect. And if you're trying to be perfect, that's not the same thing as throwing the biggest punch you got on a good ball. Those are two different things. So I'd rather see you get this thing off on a big fat one, and we'll sort out perfect later. You know what I mean? But just be free and have fun. Try to send it.
You're saying hitters count a swing. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah. And I think a hitter's count is any count that doesn't have 2 strikes in it, for the most part. Like, it's kind of and then that depends on what the scoreboard says. Because if there's 2 strikes and you don't think the pitcher has a swing and miss for you, and the scoreboard says hit a double, then it's still get that A swing off. Perhaps that's more valuable than putting it in, not necessarily that you don't want to put it in play, but like still hunt that good ball. Maybe I wouldn't be as upset if you took a marginal / ball for a strike 3 as opposed to trying to get a good fat one even with 2 strikes and hitting a double. Like, not less times, but yeah.
I can tell you guys are not going to like what happens next.
You're not supposed to get
Spoiler
ahead of the game
alert.
here.
No, I'm not. I'm just telling you that Landon Knack has thrown 69 pitches, 36 of which for strikes.
Yeah.
All right, that's the gapper.
How long they let him go, Alana? He's really got to eat innings for them.
Well, I mean, they do have a day off tomorrow, so I do think that they could go to their bullpen now. I mean, they're going to he had a 4-0 cushion, and he's already thrown 69 pitches.
Nice. Yeah, and now it is tied.
Jack Dreyer up and warming right now, getting loose.
It's one of the things interesting about the modern game, or at least the higher in the zone that they work with the fastballs, the higher you get in the zone, the more you eliminate your first line of defense in the infielders. So you can get glancing blows up there, but should they get at least some bat on it, like Tommy Edman, you know what I mean? You can throw it over the infielders' heads and play in front of the outfielders because there's less of them and more space. So, one
there it is.
One maybe deterrent. Yeah, here comes DR. Deterrent from working the top of the zone as you do kind of take away more of your infield defense.
Yeah, so 2 1/3 guys, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 walks. That'll kill you too. Just 2 punch outs, the 1 home run, obviously, an 8.31 earned run average so far for Landon Knack this series. That's
rough starts for the kids.
That's not good stuff.
No.
Off of Wrobleski giving up 8 over 5. The second line of Dodger pitching depth did not hold up their end of the bargain so far.
The Nats are trying to go for their first sweep of the Dodgers since 2008.
Wow.
So it's been a long time. And I think they started 1-6 on the season. Is that right? Was something right around there. And they've really, especially if they've really put up a fight.
Yeah, I mean, they could, Britt, if they win this game, to your point, they'll be at 500 for the year. They're 5-6 right now.
Yeah, they're an interesting team, guys. I don't think by any means are they probably a playoff team, but I think they're a team that you can see where they could cause some havoc, or you could see that maybe they're a year away from really being a contender because you're seeing all these young guys. You saw it last night. I mean, they now have a clubhouse where all those guys that are in there are going to be part of the next good Nationals team, right? For a while, it was just like, we're waiting for the kids. So they had a bunch of placeholders and just kind of plugging guys in. But it was about last year that you really went to that clubhouse and you looked around and you were like, okay, these are the guys. This is either going to work or it's not going to work. But this is the next group of, the Nationals era. And I think that you're really going to see, like this series, you're going to see them hold their own a lot. They're a young team. So, they're going to make mistakes. There's going to be, like last year, the big question is, how can this young pitching hold up? They started off so well to the season last year. I think you're going to see those growing pains a little bit this year too, but they're an interesting team. They're not a doormat, right? They're not Miami. They're not Colorado. They are, I think, kind of in that next tier of teams, if you will.
What makes them a playoff contending team then? I think Daniel believes that they could, to your point, they could cause some havoc. They could take some teams out of it. What would make them a playoff contending team?
I think the pitching has to hold itself together. That was the issue last year. I remember going there in May or June and talking to Ryan Zimmerman, and he's like, because they had a great hot start, if you guys remember. And he was like, yeah, but it's not going to hold up because these guys are all on innings limits. They're really young. So now you have another year of all that, and you have those guys, with a little more experience. I like some of the veterans they added. Nathaniel Lowe is a terrific guy. Paul DeYoung, like they really did a good job bringing some of those guys in. And I think James Wood, I mean, he's a star. You had Bryce Harper and you had Juan Soto, and now you have James Wood. And DC, I was thinking about this today. They just continually have those stars. Oh,
nope. Okay, good.
Alex Call got under one. But
so Alex Call is another, like Alex Call,
run.
Dylan Cruz. Like they've just got a lot of young, interesting talent. So you think they can be a playoff team this year, Murph? I don't know. I think the NL East is just going to beat them to a pulp.
Yeah, I hedged. I said I think they could get to the deadline and have Mike have some decisions to make possibly.
Point, yeah.
So it's a bit of a hedge. Like run a good 4-month season, kind of 3.5-month season, and get to where the inventory becomes available. It's kind of what I was saying, that the league is kind of heading in that direction, and then some teams are almost getting ahead of the trade deadline in the free agent market late in spring training, if that makes sense. Like you have players available that maybe I would go and try to acquire this player at the deadline, but he's available now at the end of the free agent market where they haven't been as much in previous years. So I do think that might be a market inefficiency where you can find where there are really good players in free agency on 1-year deals available now, where you could do some trade deadline shopping then.
Yeah.
Jack Dreyer is in the game for the Dodgers. Put this pitcher so far this season in the category of, how'd they find this guy? Where did this one come from? Something the Dodgers do sneaky well.
Keep it fair.
And that's a foul ball there from Paul DeYoung. 2 outs here. Nats have caught up and taken the lead 5-4, but Clint,
Jack Dreyer, Scotty, Johnston High School in Johnston, Iowa. Not a lot of big leaguers coming out of the great state of Iowa, University of Iowa. Interesting.
Good for him.
Yeah. Undrafted free agent just somebody who Dodgers are always working. This front office is always working to try to find talent. And you have a little bit of a live arm. They're going to find a way to bring the most out of you, which is what we're seeing with this dude.
And he'll try to go multiple innings, I'm guessing, since they brought him in to face 3 righties. Like he's going to want at least 1 up down out of him.
Yeah, he's probably got about 35 pitches in the tank, so hopefully he can get him into the 5th. That's the goal here. Doc trying to bridge the gap through 9. Also need the bottom of the lineup to start working. We got a pattern continuing here. Top of the lineup 1 through 4 is 4 for 6, 2 walks. Bottom of the lineup 0 for 7 for the Dodgers. Continues a problem that we've seen in the early throws of the season.
So far, Jack Dreyer's thrown 7 2/3 innings, guys, in the 2025 season, a 1.17 ERA. So he's been good when he's been out there and the opportunities that he's been given.
Nice pitch for the punch out. And we're through 3. We got 9 runs on the board in this one in DC. It's 5-4. Scott Braun here from Foul Territory. Clint Pasillas and Alana Rizzo from Dodgers Territory. Daniel Murphy is on here with us. So is Brittany Ghiroli hanging out, watching the game. We'll try to flip to some other games at times when we have a moment during a commercial break. Last commercial break, we saw the Reds taking it to the Giants again. They shut them out the last couple nights. So this is where I get to show up tomorrow to Foul Territory and tell someone like Eric Kratz, I'm on with most days, relax on your look at the Giants. I mean, they're about to get taken here by the Reds in a few games just now. It's early. It's early. You don't learn a ton yet.
No, I think early days for sure. You'd have some concern if you're the Braves. You know what I mean? You'd really like to win this series. Like if you start that kind of slow. But the teams that are hovering around, 2 games under 500 to 2 games above, like still early days. You don't want to get left behind. I mean, when like Atlanta starts 0-7, you still haven't proven you can win a ball game yet. So now you got to prove you can win a series, and then forward you go.
Yeah.
Yep, takes a while for us to make proper evaluations. The other thing with the Braves, for example, Murph, to your point, is what does the roster look like? I mean, Reynaldo Lopez is going to miss potentially the entire season. It sounds like September at the earliest. He was huge for them last year. Profar, of course, signs in the offseason, gets dinged with PEDs. He's going to miss half the year and wouldn't be eligible for the playoffs. Like those kind of things are more what I'm looking at the start of the year is what major injuries, stuff like that pops up to really help project what the team's going to look like for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think, and you think about with Strider coming back, he's going to have the governor on him, rightfully so. And then Acuna is not that he's going to have the governor on, but you're going to watch him. Like he's had a number of knee injuries, and you want to keep him healthy. It's can you make it that far, and then can you attend to all of these guys physically and still win some ball games? Because you still got to go win some ball games. We've been talking about the NL East, and even the opportunity the Nationals have to make some noise. So it's a difficult division. I guess I was probably just thinking, like, are they going to be able to make it that far to get their injured guys back and not have dug a hole that isn't too tough to dig out, but is just exhausting? You know what I mean? It can be exhausting. Takes a lot of energy to come back.
The Astros had to do that last year. They had a really slow start. They finally got there at the end of the season, but then got upset pretty early in the postseason.
Guys, what do you think about the amount of strikeouts that the Dodgers have had? I mean, we heard it at the top of the show before the game began that Dave Roberts was not pleased about the punch-outs. I mean, this is a team that faced Tarek Skubal. This is a team that faced Chris Sale. And in those 2 games, they didn't have 15 punch-outs. Yesterday, I think they had 15. You saw Max Muncy there striking out on 3 pitches. Daniel, what does that say to you? What are they doing incorrectly? Is there not enough patience at the plate? Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, Ted Williams asked Roger Hornsby what it takes to be a great hitter, and he said, "Get a good ball to hit." Like it's simple. and then as you work that backwards, it's like, why aren't you getting good balls? Well, because I can't see them. You know what I mean? I can't see that this is a curve instead of a fastball. But fundamentally, like getting good balls, and then I think if you work it backwards, if the goal is to not strike out, then if I work it from 3 strikes backwards, then perhaps my 2-strike swing isn't my complete haymaker, you know what I mean? And my 1-strike swing is maybe a little bigger than that. But I kind of maybe equate it to if I have a runner on third base with less than 2 outs, the scoreboard is telling me I have to be accurate here in all circumstances. There's no choice. This ball has to be pushed forward. So if I think the pitcher has something that he can get me to swing and miss on with 2 strikes, I'll work that back. I don't want him to go to work on me. So maybe that 0-0, 1-0 or 1-strike pitch that is a good ball to hit that sometimes I maybe hit for a double, certainly, I'm going to try and make sure that I secure contact. You know what I mean? And then I work it back. Now, again, if I don't think he's got a swing and miss for me and I'm feeling pretty good, then I may take my chances somewhat the whole way through the at-bat. But fundamentally, if accuracy is called for by the scoreboard or the skipper, then I work it backwards from 2 strikes to try to make sure that my swing and my approach match that kind of demand of me from the game or from my skipper.
Okay.
And Kike walks with 1 out in the 4th. And Jake Irvin gave up.
This has all the makings of a 11-9 win for someone, doesn't it? I mean,
that's what it's feeling like.
Yeah.
This is like a pre-pitch clock game almost. It reminds me of, the way the first inning went, right? Like we're used to games now being in the 6th, 7th inning. Like this is very much going to be now a survive mode from both teams. And it's a travel day for both teams, which Daniel, you can probably speak to. It's probably the worst, right? You have games like this and you just like want to have the game over, get your stuff and get on that plane and get out of there. Both these teams are trying to wrap it up. It's cold. The game's taking forever. It's April. Like, this is a mental grind, I would imagine, for the people on the field.
It's a choice, to attend to what you're doing because, both clubs are, you're cold and you want to be in the next city and, in either enjoying your off day or getting ready for the next ball game. Oh my goodness, he's not seeing it well at all. Sorry.
Shadows.
He took 3 of those. He didn't look like he saw none of them.
Shadow punch out.
Honestly, though, Murph, I don't think Pajes is seeing anything. I don't know.
In general.
I don't know that it's Shadows. I don't know that it's Irvin. I just think this guy is beyond lost. No disrespect. I've never stepped foot on a big league field as a player, but good Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are times you feel like you're standing on your head. I used to say when that was going on that if the pitcher is as selfish as I am, then he's concerned with himself. So he's not as concerned necessarily. He wants to get me out, but he doesn't know that like I'm totally grinding in here. He's focused on what he needs to do. But when you feel like you're standing on your head, you think the whole world sees you. Like they know exactly what's going on. And so it can feel exposing. He just looked like he was caught between 2 minds that at bat, maybe looking for something soft and just didn't see the fastball at all. Because those were pretty good balls to hit.
Yeah. Alon, he had a rough spring too, right?
He did. I mean, he's just been lost on both sides of the ball. I was saying the other day, yesterday on Dodgers territory, Britt, that it's like you can handle perhaps the misrunning of routes and not seeing the ball well off the bat in the outfield if you're hitting, and he's not doing either thing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you wonder how patient they're going to be with him, especially if they get swept here and if they continue, kind of stumbling here a little bit.
Getting Freddie back. Yeah, I think getting Freddie back when they get home is going to help. It'll be able to, you can kind of put people back where they're supposed to be. Right now, Kike's playing first.
True.
Because they want Muncy at third, and so getting Freddie back will help a lot. But yeah, he looks real lost.
Go take some swings left-handed. I would go to the other side of the plate, hitting the cage. On the other side. Can't be worse.
Right?
Make you feel a little bit. Well, just switch it up a little bit, like get you going in a different direction. I ran the bases backwards when I went and played in the minor leagues last time. I just do all sorts of weird stuff.
Murph, did he just mistime that one? That was a hanger, no?
Yeah, that one was there. It might not have broken quite as much. You know what I mean? So look, swinging underneath of it. I wonder sometimes you get those curves that hang almost too much that kind of back up just a little bit at the end, almost like and it didn't quite break into him. I guess not too dissimilar to like the gyro ball sometimes that maybe your eyes see curve, but it doesn't curve as much as you think, and maybe just stays kind of above your barrel. Because it looked like it's from a timing perspective that he was completely on it. He just swung through it.
Right. Didn't break the way he thought it was going to. And I mean, so bad location, not necessarily the break you're looking for either, but it works out.
Also swinging out of his shoes right there.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So Ohtani down on strikes, and the Dodgers are down 5-4. We're watching the Mariners and the Astros for a moment here as the Astros are applying the heat. Seattle's off to a really slow start as well, and there's a few fan bases that are like super high up on the pissed off meter, and I think Seattle's top 3. So it's tough times for them right now at home. We'll get back to our game. That's all I'll say. Murph, by the way, you're winning more than anyone on the field right now over these first couple hours. Most of the comments here in the chat have been great. Many people may be hearing you for the first time talking over a game if they haven't caught you on SNY. My favorite was It's KP in the chat said, Murphy is killing it. I almost forgive him for 2015.
Yeah. Man, this thing is a bar of soap sometimes. I wish I caught it more, but such is life.
Well, thanks for letting me hang with you guys. Speaking of SNY, I've got to run. I've got to switch gears. Mets Yankees talk over on SNY, but this was a good time as always.
You were wonderful.
Think we've met. But nice to meet you. We did not overlap in DC. But...
Well, I enjoy your reporting in DC and in SNY. So I look forward to when we get to meet in person, and I'm certainly familiar with your work. I really enjoy it.
If I had it more together, I was telling the producers I was cleaning out my 3-month-old clothes because you're constantly switching clothes out at this age. And I found we have hand-me-downs. I found this Nationals onesie, and it's got Murphy on the back. I was going to have it and bring it on the show, but I don't even know where it is right now. Such was my life. But what
That's
exists
cool,
is
though.
at my house. I'll take a picture at some point.
Oh, cool. You were the one that bought it.
Yeah. Or my
One
sister, or
sale.
someone.
Britt, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you. Have fun on your
Yeah.
show later.
Bye, Britt.
Thanks. Take care, guys.
See ya. Britt, of course, on The Athletic, and a teammate of Murph's over at SNY as well. For those of you that are Dodgers or Nats fans watching, that's the Mets channel. Here we go. Home half of the fourth. Dylan Cruz is up, big part of the future for the Nats, and the leading candidate as far as odds and predictions for Rookie of the Year in the National League. He's had a very slow start first couple weeks here, but highly touted coming out of LSU. Paul Skeens, LSU, teammate of his there, and got called up late last season. Has the potential to be a true five-tool talent. They've really gotten themselves some dynamic players, right? If the guys hit their ceiling, Cruz, Wood, Abrams, etc. I mean,
Dave Ratliff got it.
Here you go.
Got him. These guys can do it all.
Yeah. Is that his second one today? I'm not keeping score. I checked his strikeouts on the way in here. I think he had like 13 on maybe 36 at bats or so to start the year. Accuracy is one of the first things I go to check if someone's not quite swinging it the way they want to. It's hard. Well, if you end up getting in a stretch where you're striking out, they also catch your batted balls too. Like they're really good at catching them and standing exactly where you hit it. So those at bats get taken away from you, even if you hit it hard. It can be hard to be productive when those strikeouts start racking up.
Yeah, he's 0 for 2 with 2 Ks, batting 132 now on the year.
Nice play from the Gold Glover, Tommy Tanks.
Mm-hmm.
2 down.
Oh, this would be a good one. I want to see James against the southpaw here. He hit a home run against the left-hander. Was it last night? Did he do that?
Robleski. Yeah, for Robleski.
Start him off with a curve. That's what I would have done.
Oh.
There you go. Missed. Big splits.
Oh, man. Mauling against the lefties.
Yeah.
Dang. Oh, he sees the ball really well. I haven't watched a ton of his at bats live. Like the ones I have, he swings at really good pitches. Like it's such a good eye at the plate. I throw one up and in personally, higher. Well, so I was thinking about this. Like the tall giants we have in our game, they don't look up on the baseball as much. You know what I mean? They kind of look down on the rest of us, like Aaron Judge and stuff. So like I would just throw one like up in here.
All right, pour it in a strike. Taken.
Murph, who did you hate facing?
Josh Hader was a difficult matchup, like very unpleasant as it went on. The last at bat, the worst of the three. Good pitch.
Left on left. What about a right-hander you hated facing? You can say nobody. It's fine.
It's not nobody. Like I wasn't productive. I didn't feel necessarily as overwhelmed. Like it's nice when you get the platoon advantage 3/4 of the time. Like most of the world's right-handed. So they're kind of coming into me. Like when early in my career, like Josh Johnson, with the Marlins, when he would get loose, like I remember one opening day, Chris Young was on the team. He's with obviously the Rangers president now. And he looked at me in probably about the fourth inning, and Josh had thrown a pitch opening day, and he goes, he just got loose. And I started watching. It just started coming out of his hand. And so he was one that you could feel, I guess it's a fight for who's going to get pushed back. You know what I mean? Because the pitcher's charging you, and they're kind of trying to push you back. And so I was more likely to get pushed back by a left-hander than I was a righty. But there were, certainly guys that made me feel uncomfortable. It was the one. Well, now I'm long-winded. The right-handers who can move the ball, their ball in two different directions. So think of like the Cardinals. All right, so they would start, like a fastball, and they'd be able to cut it in or sink it off of that, and then they do like Adam Wainwright. They do the same thing away. So they crisscross you and then go overhand curveball changeup. And so I liked straight fastballs because that way, if it started where I wanted, like right out of your hand in my tunnel, I just go. You know what I mean? Like I'm gone. The guys who would cut it and sink it, I'd have to move where I wanted the ball to look for it so it would finish where I wanted. So like a straight one is just like, if it starts here, I'm gone. And the other guys, I had to give up a little bit. I couldn't pull as much. Like, I wanted to pull it. Like when I was ever my most productive, I wanted to hit it over the second baseman's head, beat the first and second baseman in the air.
Is there a way that you can figure out, like, is there a way that you can train your eye to recognize what is coming out of the hand faster as you go along in this game?
I think so. I think you get more at bats. Like I'm going to sound like an old guy yelling at the clouds, but like I think it would be as if not more beneficial to have your old uncle throw you baseballs in batting practice than to hit out of a pitching machine throwing it fast at you. Because there's just something you learn when somebody starts throwing punches at you. Because that's what I think this is. We're chucking punches at each other. And then I tell our 11-year-old Blue Claws, I was like, don't forget you got kickers too. You know what I mean? Like this is a fight. And so the more dances and kind of, sparring matches you get, my dad threw to me all the time. If I asked for him to throw, he threw and we hit. And then I just like taking it back. So I played summer ball as much as I could. And I did it in college and I went and played winter ball and I did it there. And then I look back on like the Babe Ruths and Lou Gehrig's and Willie Mays of the world, and they went and barnstormed at the end of the season. So they go play a whole season and then go west to St. Louis because that's as far as the league went. And they'd play more baseball. And it's like, well, that might be a good way to get good at baseball. Go play a bunch of baseball.
What a concept.
I would play more winter ball, without a doubt. I would trade some of my weight room for the winter ball.
Hey, on that hitting conversation, Freddie Freeman, one of the best hitters in baseball still to this day, gets BP from dad every offseason.
Yeah.
And
he knows that rhythm.
Something to it.
And handles lefties too. It's like wood.
Yep.
Oh, his dad's a southpaw. His dad's left-handed?
Is Fred left-handed?
Oh.
That one I don't know.
No. His dad was his dad.
His name is also Fred.
As you know, Freddie can hit a lefty.
Yes, he does. He sticks his nose in there a long time. Because if you pick wrong and think it's a curve and it don't curve, like it's coming up at your chest. Like that's why I stopped. These lefties started throwing like 96-mile-an-hour fastballs close to me and I couldn't see them. I was like, this is for the birds. I'm not going to sit here and be dodging bullets. I'm going to get killed.
Now so many guys, too, are using every version of the fastball they can, right? I mean, 4-seam, 2-seam, cutter. It's a lot of guys where you'll go over and they've got all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Fred Freeman is right-handed.
Okay.
According to the Google machine. I don't know if it's true or not.
Check tape.
We're saying bye, if we didn't already, to the YouTube crowd. If you were on YouTube, bye. See you on Playback. Free.
Tube in
on Playback. Yep.